William Shakespeare was unquestionably one of the greatest writers of all time, so maybe it's no surprise that one of his tragedies sold for a staggering price on Antiques Roadshow. Plenty of folks have loads of junk hanging around the basement, attic, garage, packed into closets, crammed into glove compartments, shoved into the back of cupboards, you name it. Here's the question though, what do you actually do with all that stuff? Enter Antiques Roadshow, a series that has unearthed all kinds of hidden treasures over the years, from rare pocket watches to vintage jazz posters to masterwork paintings and more. When the Roadshow crew stopped in the tiny 6,000-person town of Shelburne, Vermont in July 2022, manuscript appraiser Devin Eastland took a look at what she called a rather skinny, ratty-looking volume that seller Mike pulled from a box. Mike's grandfather had collected books during his life and eventually passed his collection along to his family. The book, it turns out, was nothing less than a 1655 edition of William Shakespeare's monumental play King Lear, printed in Quto format, which means the paper is folded once, then again into a small size. UK auctioneers Sotheby's sold the book in 1946 for £28. Eastland subsequently appraised it at $10,000 to $15,000. When the bidding finally ended, however, the Quto had sold for a staggering $57,500. William Shakespeare wrote and collaborated on about 38 plays during his life. Henry VI Part II was his first play to be performed from 1590 to 1591. Meanwhile, all of his big, well-known tragedies, such as Hamlet, Macbeth, Othello, and King Lear, came later. King Lear itself was probably written sometime after 1603 and first performed in 1608.
Better thou hadst not been born than not to have pleased me better.
Shakespeare died in 1616, and by 1623, the first collected volume of his works, known as the First Folio, was published. The edition of King Lear from Antiques Roadshow came 32 years later in 1655. The Quto format was a smaller, cheaper paperback edition of the original folio, and this one was in pretty bad shape. Eastland says that the Quto seller, Mike, had kept King Lear on a shelf with a few other 17th century books that he owned. The book's binding was failing, its cover page was frayed, and it felt like it was going to fall apart when handled. And yet, even taking such a poor condition into account, Eastland valued King Lear at $10,000 to $15,000. Not only are Quto editions less common, but the publisher, Jane Bell, was a woman, which was incredibly rare for the time. Besides, the book could be restored. In fact, Eastland herself restored it in the end, which helped it sell for such a high price at auction. While we don't know what happened to the Quto of King Lear on Antiques Roadshow after it sold at auction, or who bought it, we know that the book provoked some frenzied bidding. Due to the item's obvious appeal, bidding quickly shot past Eastland's original valuation all the way to $20,000, $30,000, and higher. Thanks to two competing phone bidders, the final sale price hit that hugely impressive price of $57,500, of which $46,000 went to the seller. The Quto's auction listing at Swan Auction Galleries can still be viewed today. It's noted as Lot 124, sale number 2617. The same page claims that there are 17 copies of this exact edition of King Lear kept in UK and US institutions. The publisher, Jane Bell, published 25 books from 1649 to 1661, and she might well have done so illegally. The Quto itself is a trim 88 pages long, with some browning along the pages and a new cover that Eastland crafted, which no doubt helped attract such fervent bidders. Notably, when the Quto hit Antiques Roadshow, it didn't actually have its original binding. It's therefore entirely possible that the book might have been extracted from some larger volume. It could also be that the book was never bound correctly to begin with and got passed around here and there before making its way to Sotheby's in London in 1946 and then across the Atlantic Ocean.